Hi, another episode of the Old Man with a Fly Rod. Boy, do I feel like an old man today. If you'll notice, my left eye is kind of swollen. As of yesterday, it was swollen totally shut for about 3 days. And I ended up getting into some poison ivy while working outside. And I actually had to go to the doctor after about a week because this left eye was just totally shut. And they put me on prednisone. I'm on it for 2 days, and I'm on it for a full week, and I'm now finally starting to feel better. I wanted to get this video out to you as quick as I could about the cicada fly. And that's why I want to get out to you quick, is because they're already starting to come to fruition here in southern Missouri. And I don't know if you're in a state that has this unbelievable 200-year confluence of the brood X7 and the brood X17 all coming out of the ground at the exact same time. It happens once every 200 years, and this is the year it happens. It won't happen again for another 200 years that both of these come out. As far as the brood X17, which I'm zeroing in on with this particular video, is like I said, I think I watched 19 videos on tying the cicada fly, and I got a little bit from each one of them, but I got to give my hats off to Jake with Jake's Brood X video on tying a cicada. It's probably one of the best that I saw, and you may want to look at that. I did change his around a little bit in that in the cicada brood 17, orange is your friend. At the beginning of the video, you're going to see an actual picture of one of those brood 17s. And that's what we're trying to imitate or give the illusion of when we present it to the fish. Not only did I enjoy the 19 different videos, but my good friend John Gantner, he and I discussed this quite a bit, and probably the biggest discussion was wing material. The first group that he made, which I sat in on, he's a wonderful fly tyer. He tied a bunch of wingless at first, just a little underwing, but now he has added legs and also wings to his pattern. One of the problems I have come up with that after tying these is with the wing material is the float of the fly. I will have to say in the video it's going to talk about me using an acetate sheet that I spray paint lightly with some black paint to give it an illusion of some texture. And I made a bunch. I love the way that thing floats. The problem is aerodynamics, so we discussed that too as far as what's the best fly to, as far as casting. How far do you want to cast the thing? And so I would say I go back and forth between the acetate material and the web wing, but we'll get into that discussion in the video. That's pretty much the things I have been wrestling with. And again, this is going to be a clumsy video. Number one, I've got one eye. And number two is I usually like to tie about 50 patterns, 50 of one pattern before I make a video to show you. I have not tied 50 of these. So please put up with my clumsiness, but at least you'll get the idea when you see the video. Thanks for tuning in, and talk to you. Okay guys, let's get started on this cicada. And first thing I'm going to do is tie on a bit of a body of thread so that I can tie on my materials and not directly to the hook where it'll slip around. So I always like to put on a little a bit of a thread body. Most of my flies, I can't think of. Maybe, well, even the megaworm, I put on a little underbody of thread. So let's stop right there and cut that excess off. All right, good. Like I said, this is one that's going to be a little clumsy, but hang in there. I have cut 3 pieces of foam. I have one piece like this, and then I have 2 pieces like that. Notice the difference in width. This one is probably 5 millimeters wide, and this one is probably closer to 10 millimeters wide. Nah, it's not a centimeter, but either way, you'll see the proportions as I'm doing this. Now I'm going to go ahead and tie this thinner piece on, but before we do that, let's cut this into a point that'll tie on there nicely, okay? And because I don't like things to fly around and stuff, I will go ahead and put on a little bit of super glue here. And this thing's a game changer. This, let's see, this Gorilla super glue this dispenser is just a game changer, fellows, because you can go ahead and direct the tiniest little drop by pressing on the pump right here. So I'm just going to put on, first usually comes out a little bit of a bubble first, but not this case. Good, there, that's all I needed was that little drop. And now we'll go ahead and tie this. I started towards myself first, and then it pulls onto the top of the hook. And there we go. Let's get that secured well. People on some of the videos talk about their thread cutting through the foam. I don't know if they were doing it too hard or what, but I haven't had that trouble, probably until I do this one for you guys. Now I'm going to take the other 2 pieces and I'm going to put them together, and then I'm going to cut them into a point rather than just slanted like that. And we'll go ahead and put them together like that and make that into a point like that. And then we'll go ahead and tie that on. The only thing is, I don't want in this spot orange thread, so I'm going to go ahead and leave my orange thread dangle to the right here like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put on a little layer of black thread pretty darn close to the eye here, so I can tie that on, and then I don't show any orange right around the head. I really want the orange for the segmenting of my body when the time comes. So there we go. Again, because I don't want things rotating around, I'll go ahead and put a little bit of glue right on there. That's it. And then we'll go ahead and put my points right there and see if we can tie those on nicely. Good. Again, clumsy, clumsy, clumsy alert. Go ahead and tie that on nicely. I don't know about you guys, I have a hard time tying things from with my left hand to get them tight, so let's see how we're doing. Yeah, we'll get that a little closer to the eye of the hook there. And now those 2 pieces are tied on pretty good, and we'll let the super glue set. Let's tie that on pretty fast there and get those lined up. And as I look down the hook, I want to make sure, you know, everything's set up pretty much on top. Now I'm pretty much done with this black thread at this time, so I'm going to go ahead and I'd love to whip finish that, but with these two pieces sticking out like that, it's very hard to do. So we'll just go ahead and put a little glue and to hold our thread down there because it's going to get locked in anyway with these two pieces. There we go, that'll be good. And cut that off there. I can trim that closer later. Good. All right, now we're going to go ahead and wrap this around and make ourselves an underbody. Like so. And if you're making a video, don't let go with your other hand because it'll come flying off. But that's pretty much what I want here. Good. Now we're coming up towards the top, towards the other piece here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little point to this to make the thread that I'm going to put on there. Now there's where I should not have untied the black thread because I needed to put one more. So we'll just go ahead and super glue that right there, and it looks like it's pretty well super glued and pretty darn good. Yes, excellent. You may not think so, but it's true. Yeah, that super glue's holding it pretty nice. I got kind of a cool thing I found at the dollar store. Check these little clothespins out. And if I need to really hold something nice, these clothespins just do a great job. Isn't that cool? So a little tip for you. When the wife makes you go to the dollar store with you, you got something to look for. All right. By the way, my eye is finally starting to clear up with some prednisone. It got pretty bad. And now I look forward to having some cataracts removed. Okay, so let's go ahead and segment this now. And we're going to go ahead and take some orange thread, the burnt orange, and make sure I stay within my segment and give it at least 4 wraps so that color shows through. But on the bottom, I want it to look like a band, not a bunch of individual threads. So that's pretty much what I want to see. I want a band like that. Now, these two are going to be coming over like that. And in doing so, it's going to cover up any thread that I have on top. So now I'll come over the top here to start my next segment. And just go ahead and tie that on, making sure I'm making a band and not just what looks like individual threads underneath here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and come over one more time and stop right there. And again, not as tight because I want a little bit of a taper to that body. There we go. And we'll go like that. And then I think I'm going to go ahead. I don't know on this one. I've been going back and forth on tying legs on where I do that. It'd be nice to have 6 legs, but I'm happy with the illusion of just 2 legs coming out. So we'll do that towards the front. So right now, let's go ahead and get ready to put this back over. And I think we're going to go ahead and, yes, yeah, we'll do that. We'll go ahead and like so. Am I going to do that yet? Nope, I don't think so. I think I'm going to go ahead and do one more over here and tie in my legs. There we go. Make sure it looks like a band on there and not individual threads. Go ahead and cut off a leg. Not on myself, but you've seen this on most of the videos, and that is these orange and black legs that cost. Get ready for this now. Cost an arm and a leg. Okay, it's early in the morning. My wife is still in bed. The dog's asleep. And I'm down here at about 6:30 tying a fly. That prednisone does tend to give you some sleeplessness. And so, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this up against here and tie it right into my segment down towards the bottom and get that puppy sitting right out like that. Good. And we'll cut off our excess here, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. I will put that right about there, and we'll go ahead and tie this in sight unseen, and we'll straighten that out later. Let's get this right about where I want it. And now, yeah, that's pretty much where I want it. Yeah, excellent. And we'll cut that excess off there. And you know what? That's enough leg for me. Good. Yes, I like that a lot. Very, very good. Now we'll go ahead and put that over, and we're going to be tying on a little bit of materials on the top. So we'll go ahead and just tie this over here like that and get that orange segment right there. Excellent. Make sure it's on the top like that. There we go. And that's pretty much what I'm going to have. Now, let's cut off a little bit. We'll really trim this off later, but for right now. Now I really am going to go ahead and taper this body a little bit here. Like so. And then like so. There we go. Gosh, that looks pretty darn nice. All right, so now we're going to want a little crystal flash up here for our wings coming out the side. Now, let's discuss the wings. Here is a cicada wing that I have picked up off the ground. Notice the veins in that, and we want to give the illusion of those veins and texture in the wing, the crinkleness. And then if you'll notice something very important on this 17-year cicada is that orange piece of cartilage that is right along the edge of the wing. That'll be on the outside. So this is actually the right wing of this fly, because that little orange will be on the outside like so. Let's see, do I have the same thing here? Yeah, I've just got the same one, so I have to show you one from the other side. And we'll get going on that. So to give the illusion of these veins that are showing through here, you're going to go ahead and tie some crystal flash there that will shine through our acetate wing that we're going to tie in. So let's go ahead with the crystal flash. I'm going to cut off a bunch of it here. And let's see, we'll go ahead. Oh, this is a perfect amount here, it looks like. Yeah, let's do that one. Okay, we'll just cut that off. Clumsy. All right, there we go. And we'll go ahead and tie that on towards a little cross pattern right across here. And what that's going to do then will give the illusion underneath the wings. And I just want it past the, probably the bend of the hook. So let's go ahead and try to stay within our channel here so that we don't have anything looking underneath here other than looking like a band of orange. Now we'll go ahead and we'll cross that over like so a little bit, or you can cut it and lay it back down, but this just saves you a step. And we'll go ahead and get the other side going like so. Now let's see if I like it. Yeah, I do. Let's cut off this excess here that we don't need. There we go. And there we go. I don't know where that piece came from, but we'll get rid of it too. And now I can tie it in. I've got some coming out towards you. I've got some coming out towards me. Now let's tie it down nice. With maybe a couple more wraps here. Like so. And there we go. All right, cool. That's kind of an A-bear one, but that's going to get laid down when we put our wing material on there. Let's cut this excess off and make sure we cut the thread right in front of you so you can be totally impressed with me. There we go. So there we are. Now let's make sure that stays right on that wing. And you'll notice I'm just putting super glue on the top and not underneath, because the darn super glue, one attribute which we don't care for as fly tires, is that when it gets wet, it has a kind of a milky look to it, and we don't want anything but clear looking at this time. All right, so now we're about ready to tie our wings on. And I have tried a myriad of different materials, and I've gone with web wing, which is this material here, and I've cut off a bunch of them, and it works out pretty good, except if you want to go ahead and put some orange paint on the edge to imitate that orange cartilage, which I highly recommend. The problem is that I wish I had an example. I think I threw it out, of a web wing that I did, and I put a little orange on there. And then what happened was, yeah, it looks terrible, but when the paint dried, it pulled up my web wing. So, and that stuff's expensive. So I have gone back to my little acetate wings that I cut out of sheets of acetate that I got from Michael's. It comes like in a pad, and then you just tear off a sheet, and I put it in a pizza box. I went ahead and just went over it lightly with spray paint just to give it some little black speckles on it. And then I'll go ahead and cut out a couple wings. I don't care if they're too big. I don't want them too small at first, so I'm cutting them out because of the fact that I want to cut them down if they're too big. If I already made them too small, that's not too good. So let's go ahead and cut this one out right about there. Good. We'll go ahead and cut that like that, a little circle, semicircle, and make that pointed there. And there we go. And I cut that out of the acetate that has been spray painted lightly. See it? Got a little bit of crystal flash on it. I want that pointed more to hold my wing a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to tie this on right up against here. Now I used to tie them on a little higher up here, like so. But what happens is aerodynamics, when you go to cast it, you can't cast it as far because of the fact that you have that air resistance of those wings sitting out too far. So I like to put these up, but against. Now why do I want them up? Because I want that crystal flash to shine through to give the illusion to the fish that there are veins in the wing. So that's pretty much how I'm going to do that one. And then we'll go ahead and do the other side now. And we'll cut one out. I've got already the pattern that I cut that one out. So we'll go ahead and do one like so. And like so. There we go. It's just kind of I guess I've cut out so many of these that I have an idea of what size I want. And the acetate is really nice. It really keeps a nice, boy, that's going to be good. I think I need to cut it down a little bit though, guys. So let's do that. We'll cut that down a little bit, make it just a touch smaller, and try to match the other one as best we can. And we'll put that up against there, and that's going to look pretty darn good, to the point that I'm going to go ahead. Now, I can't see that side, and I don't want it to come out of the camera for you, so I'm going to put it like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and just wrap that sucker on there tight. Not too tight, because I don't want it to splay out. But let's get it up a little bit. There's one, and where's the other one go now? Yeah, there it is. That's pretty darn good. In fact, they touch, which may not be such a bad thing. Both wings are touching each other, capturing the crystal flash underneath it. So I'm kind of happy with that. Let's see what I can do with cutting that when we're all done. Yeah, that's got to come down a little bit, fellas and gals, and all the other wonderful people that are kind enough to listen to this old man. Let's bring that down a little bit, like so. Again, we don't want it splayed out too far now. And that looks a little further than the other one. This is hard to do with, so you can see it, but I can't as I'm doing it. So let's get that up a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and tie that in. All right. Yeah, I'm having double time, trouble right here. I think, you know what, I got to make that a little bit smaller right there. There we go. So that kicks in nicely right there. Yes. Yes, that looks good. Then we'll go ahead and tie that on like that. Excellent. Okay. And that is my cicada wings, and with the crystal flash showing through. Not bad. It's not bad. It's not excellent, but it's not bad. Okay. All right. Now, let's see. Make sure you guys are seeing this good. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So now I've got my wings on there, and I may want to trim this body now down here a little bit into a bit of a point. And there we go. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Very good. Okay, now we do have those wings on. Now we're going to need a little bit of eyes there, and let's shape that head. Right now it looks like my sledgehammer that I use out in the gardening, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this head so it's a little tapered at the front there, and also it's a little more aerodynamic again for casting. Yep. Okay, can you see that? All right, so I've got that tapered a little bit like so. Now, last thing is I'm going to put some eyes on there, and the purpose isn't just to look cutesy. The purpose is the silhouette of the fly. They do have bulbous eyes, and so let's go ahead and just put in a couple of eyes here. And the way I'm going to do it, let's see if I don't run out of battery on my phone here, is I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of straight pins, like so. There we go. Like that. Now I'll put those over here. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to spray paint these, or I'm going to add a little nail polish on them and make them nice and red. And then I'm going to stick them into the side like so. So let's go ahead and cut those. Now in cutting them, obviously I don't want that much pen sticking out. It'd be easy to cut them like that, but if you cut them like that, you lose the point of the pin to stick through something. So I usually cut them a little bit at an angle. And then I'll go ahead and hold them with my pliers here, like so. And then I'll go ahead and stick that in. But our problem is that we need these. Well, I'll go ahead and stick this in now with a little super glue, and I'll come back later and put a little red nail polish on them. Usually I'll polish them before I put them in. Put a little nail polish on them, red. And why don't I buy some red pins? I couldn't find any other than multiple colors. So that's what I got. And that's pretty much the silhouette you're going to get, okay? All right, now let's put the other one in, the other side. And we got to cut it too. I'll bet you catch fish when they're really turned on to these cicadas, whether you painted them color or not. Again, it's the silhouette of that and that's pretty much how they're going to look, okay? Let me put a little super glue on that one so it stays in there. All right, and I'll use my pliers here, my cotton pliers. And I'll go ahead and put a little, actually they're orthodontic pliers, and I'm just going to put a little drop of glue on that. And then I'm going to go ahead and just stick that in between the two plies. And then I'll squeeze them together so they're in there really nice. Make sure you get a little super glue on your fingers. And there you go. Now, that's pretty much my fly. As far as the orange cartilage goes, I'll use a little acrylic paint, like so. And I'll just take a bodkin, and I'll just put the little paint on the edge there. In fact, I'll show you on that one edge how I'm going to do it, and you'll get an idea. I'll stick let the bodkin get in there, and I don't want too much on there. And then I'll just go ahead along my edge and give a little, but I don't want you to have to sit through my doing that whole thing. But I'll go ahead and I'll do that, the whole edge, bottom edge of that wing, so you guys get an idea of, fish get an idea, you guys get an idea, but fish get an idea of how that looks. Now, before I go ahead and do all the bottom edges with the orange to give that look of cartilage, like we have on this wing here, we're going to go ahead and do something for you, the fly fisherman now, not the fly tyer, and that is these colors do not really do well in a swirling water. So what I do is, and what Jake's Brood X video did too, is he goes ahead and he cuts out a little pad of orange. I'll show you here. It's going to go on the top and tie it on, and it's for your sake, so you can see that thing if it's floating upright or not. And that's a little bit too large. And that's going to be it right there. Yeah, we'll tie that on there. And again, orange is your friend. It's going to hold the crystal flash down there for me too. And we'll go ahead and put that on. Let's see here now. I'm going to put a little point on the front of that. Again, for aerodynamics when you're casting this. I have been able to cast this where I'm comfortable and getting it out where I want. So let's go ahead, and we don't want to tie in the other leg, which I probably already did, but that's okay. We'll get them all splayed out here in a second. We'll put that down there, and there we go. Like so. And like so. Now, if this ends up being a little too large, this orange piece, we can just cut it down. But that's pretty much what I want, and that is pretty much my fly. I did mention that I'm going to go ahead and put a little nail polish on those eyes. Nail polish, you can get those pretty inexpensive if you want. We'll put a little glue around there. Just to get that to stick. And that's excellent. And now we'll cut off our excess thread here. And we're good to go. And so that's pretty much my cicada. And right now, we can watch them floating down the river. Nothing's touched. But I would say within about 2 weeks, the fish are really going to get turned on to these suckers. And they're going to then go nuts over them. I've heard that Catfish, Bad River Outfitters, had a nice video on what's called Cicada Madness. That's a good video too. And they were talking about when they get like this, that the catfish, the bass, everything come up at these. So just don't limit yourself to trout with this fly. Go ahead. And like I said, I'm going to put a little red on here just to give you the idea. I'll go around and do this nicer in a second or two. But yeah, I'm just going to put a little red on those eyes. All right. Probably could do this better with a bodkin too. There we go. So I went and looked at these nail polishes, and I said to my wife, I said, I really want a red. She says, well, here you are. And I said, well, this one looks redder to me. She says, well, you know, do what you want. I think it's more like a magenta, to be honest. So I went ahead and I got the one I chose, and I said, well, are you putting the other one back then that I don't want? She says, yeah. I said, oh, well, where are you putting it back? She says, in the red section. She is sharp. So that's what I got. I know it was a clumsy video, and a lot of you can tie these a lot better than I can. But these are the materials I use, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it serves you well. And hey, have a lot of fun with the cicadas. And let's just turn that a little bit more. There we go. There we go. That little hood. Yeah, it just helps you to see if the if the fly is floating upright correctly. So hey, good luck, ladies and gentlemen. Have a real good time, and thanks for giving me the time to see this. And I hope these materials work out well for you. Talk to you later.